Hello and welcome back. As I mentioned in the last video, I wanted to spend some of this week going over some game ideas that I had and choose one of them to be the project that I'll be focusing on for the rest of this series, and I am happy to say that I have finally decided on what I'm going to make. I have decided to make a separate video going over the details of this game in question, as well as talking you through my other ideas and the process I went through in order to weigh up the pros and cons of each of them and ultimately decide on the final project. I have a pretty bad track record when it comes to making personal projects. In fact, I've yet to actually finish one, so I figured by analysing my ideas and taking a realistic approach to how I will produce them, I will hopefully avoid past mistakes and have a more pragmatic view on the project as a whole. So I wanted to share this with you as it was a pretty critical step in my own journey, and I know that it's something that other developers struggle with as well. In the meantime, I have grown quite fond of this little house I've been working on lately, and I have decided that I want to finish it off before moving on to prototyping in another project. I feel that it's important to at least finish what I started before moving on, so I'll be spending just a few more days kitting this house out and polishing it off. The first thing that I needed to do was add lights to each of the rooms. A random tip: when navigating your scene with the arrow keys, if you hold down the right mouse button and use the scroll wheel, you can adjust the speed, which I thought was pretty cool. After adding all the lights, I noticed that the lighting was looking quite blocky and wouldn't blend properly when illuminating the sections of the floors and walls. If you remember back to my second video, I found a fix for this by changing the render mode from auto to important, which seems to be doing the job. However, I still do have a few issues with the lights bleeding through the corners in some areas, which I haven't managed to find a solution to yet. Now the lighting issue was fixed, I decided to fix a few minor issues that I was having with the house in general. Some of the doors opened outwards, which I wasn't too keen on, and some of the walls and floors needed tidying up too, especially around the stairs. Once I was happy with these fixes, I wanted to add some switches, allowing the player to turn the lights on and off. I found this nice looking sockets and switches pack on the asset store, which would do the job nicely. I then wrote a simple script similar to what I'd used for the doors, which uses an on-trigger event to toggle the lights on and off with the F key. As I added more switches, I adjusted the script to support multiple lights being triggered by the same switch by changing the reference from a single game object to a list of game objects. I then went throughout the whole house and added switches along with the script to each of my lights. And that's everything I have for this week. As I mentioned earlier, next week's video will be focusing on my game idea and what I'll be doing going forward, so please stay tuned for that. As for the house, my next step is to find some furniture to really bring it to life. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.